Welcome to another edition of SVSU Red Alert, your weekly update on Saginaw Valley State University athletics. I'm your host, JJ Boehm. The SVSU football team returned from Lake Erie College with a victory in tow. Now 2-0 on the 2011 season. We'll review that one and also get a preview of this week's matchup with the Northwood Timberwolves for the Axe Bowl. And we'll also get an update on SVSU women's soccer. That's all ahead on this edition of SVSU Red Alert. Welcome back to SVSU Red Alert. I'm joined by SVSU football coach Jim Collins. And coach, first road trip of the season and always happy when you're able to return with a victory.
Exactly. And we had a lot of young guys making their first trip, and it's a business atmosphere, and I thought we did a good job of maintaining that business-like atmosphere, and to get a win was big for us.
35-20 the final score. You jump out to a big early lead. Lake Erie storms back, and then you have to get a late touchdown to kind of salt it away.
Well, at the same time Lake Erie was coming back, they did gain a little bit of momentum, but you could see on our sidelines that we pressed a little bit and understood the urgency and being put in that situation. Obviously, we made the plays at the end of the game to put it away.
A lot of big plays in this game as well. We'll see it in the highlights, but you were able to get some big plays in the passing game, big plays, run game, special teams.
That was great to see. JJ, we keep statistics, and as important as the turnover ratio is, so is the big play ratio. And although we've lost the turnover battle 2 weeks in a row, we've won the big play battle. And we've got to continue to make big plays. The other thing we did a good job of is preventing the big plays, and we'll get this turnover thing corrected.
And once again, you wind up with more than 500 yards of total offense, good balance. You have 200 yards rushing, 300 yards passing, so able to get the ball moving, both through the run and the pass.
And that's the key, and I think that's going to be the key to success all year long, is having the ability to do both. I like the way we're running the football right now. I think we're being physical. I thought we were more physical this past week up front than we were the week before. Although it was different guys. Tim Hogue carried the load a little bit more than Ronnie did this past week. It was good to see that production. And then obviously the passing game, we just got to keep getting better at it, but we're getting great production from John, and we're spreading it out to all the receivers.
Yeah, you get 265 all-purpose yards from Tim Hogue. That's a very busy day. But then week one, you get a 100-yard receiving effort from Nicolina, and this game it was from Jeff Janis.
Exactly, and that's going to really help us because from a defensive standpoint, they're not going to know who to key on. You've got to worry about our run game, and we can spread it out to different playmakers. And that's going to really, I think, as we get going in the schedule week in and week out, when people try to break you down on film and find some tendencies, we're not going to have those tendencies of always going to one guy or always leaning to one side of the field.
And then on defense, you had a couple of opportunities for turnovers, some balls where you've got defenders in place, just couldn't come up with the interception. But they made key plays at critical times.
Exactly. And the key plays, I think you look at, we had a block punt and we had a great stop. Then we had a surprise onside and interception where we held them to field goals. And our defense was up against the wall and really came through, I think, against a pretty good offense. That's what we need to continue to see. That's 2 weeks in a row where we've made key plays and key stops when we had to.
And we'll take a look at some of the highlights from this one. Certainly a good overall effort, as we've talked about. But for SVSU early in the game, you're able to get some pressure on Lake Erie, and you get the sack from Adrian Baker and Grant Caserta.
It's great to see, that type of pressure and to be able to sack the quarterback, especially early in that game, so we can help our offense out and with field position and gain momentum. Obviously, getting pressure on the quarterback, we talked about that last week. That was going to be the key.
And then SVSU able to go and get that early lead on a good, tough run by Ronnie Lark because, he's got to shed some tacklers there to make it in.
Well, we just wanted to get a couple yards in that situation because it was a short yardage situation, but he ended up carrying a couple guys and breaking a couple tackles and scoring, which is Ronnie's forte. He's a power back.
And he had a very good first quarter before he had to go out with an injury, but overall you got a good production in the running game as we talked about, and then some big plays from your front four in terms of here Nate Snyder getting a sack.
Well, we talked about that all week long, both Snyder and Williams getting pressure on the quarterback and finishing, and it was good to see us able to do that with both guys.
And so Snyder coming up there, and then the one from Brandon Williams is a key play because, as you talked about, Lake Erie had gotten a blocked punt, and so they're deep in your territory, but then on third down, B-Will comes up with the sack and takes them out of field goal range.
And they've got a good field goal kicker, so that was critical right there to knock them back and have to force the punt. And you know, it was great to see Brandon get that sack. It was great to see the way we pressured him all day. We don't get another sack the rest of the day, but we did pressure him, forced him into some bad throws, and that's what you need to do on a weekly basis.
And so good pressure from the Cardinals' front four. And then, as we talked about some of those big plays, hard to get a whole lot bigger than the 76-yard touchdown pass from Jennings to Janis.
Well, the key thing was we were able to execute, you know, because anytime you throw the ball deep, you know, you've got to have a good pass. You've got to make that play. The ball's in the air for a long time, and I thought we did a good job of executing it. Jeff was pretty open, no question. We ran a double move, the corner bit on the short fake, but you know, the ability to execute that is the key, and we did.
And that's 2 weeks in a row where he's had a big pass play over the top.
Well, you know, Jeff is our guy in terms of having speed and then the size to go up and get the football, and I think he showed his ability with the size of being able to go get it the week before. This one was just pure speed, ran by the guy and able to track the ball down, because I think John threw it about as far as he could throw it, and Jeff ran underneath it.
And then you also come back and you get a nice touchdown run from Tim Hogue, showing his speed on what looks to be a play designed to go inside. He turns it outside and outruns everyone to the corner.
They had been forcing us to bounce that play, and that's what you do as a defense. You know, you want to get things to bounce so your safeties can come down, but Tim just got great speed and outran the whole secondary to the corner, and that was great to see, because to get Tim in the end zone I thought was important, especially with all the big plays he's made. But for him to show that type of speed, I think as a defense you've got to figure some things out. How are we going to contain, you know, and still prevent teams from running up the middle on us? So I think we showed a diverse offense in that situation.
That gets SVSU a 21-0 lead. Lake Erie scores. It's 21-7 at the half, but then you come out right out of the locker room, and here you get another big play in the passing game, this one to Nick Galena, who's pretty open on this one.
Well, we had set that thing up with the way he was cracking on our outside zone run play, and we just faked the outside zone. We faked the crack, and their whole secondary bid on the play action, and you know, he was wide open. And you know, at that point, you're just hoping you can execute it. Good pass on time, get it out there to him, and make sure you catch it and score. And he did that, and it was good to see. Once again, execution is the key.
And then we also get this wonderful kickoff return here from Tim Hogue. That's, you know, good not only from his return, but he got great blocking as well.
Great effort, and I think when you go back and review the film and you look at all the individual guys that were involved in that thing, it wasn't just Tim Hogue. It was a great team effort, all 11 guys working hard, and then the hustle down the field to try to throw the blocks, you know, as he passed the 50-yard line was excellent. You know, Tim's proven that he can be a big play guy, and that's what we needed in the return game. And we've got some other guys that are capable too. You know, we had good returns out of Major Metcalf in the punt return game. We had good returns out of Vi Pecco in the punt return game. So to have some weapons as return men really help, you know, as far as setting up field position for the offense.
And then finally, late in the game, Lake Erie's pulled within one score. It's 28-20. You put together a good drive, and then here they come on a blitz. Janis is open and then makes a great play after the catch.
We did a good job of finding the open guys all day long when they blitzed, and we were really good on third down conversions, and that was no different. They came with an all-out blitz. They put man coverage on Jeff, and we found the mismatch, and then Jeff did the rest. You know, we converted the third down, but then him being able to break the tackles and outrun the defense to the end zone was key.
And so overall, a good performance. You get a victory. And now up next, one of your main rivals, the Northwood Timberwolves. We'll preview that game when we come back a little bit later in the show. But next, we'll be joined by SVSU defensive coordinator Todd Stepsis. That's next on SVSU Red Alert.
This week's male athlete of the week is Jeff Janis. Janis, a sophomore wide receiver for the SVSU football team, caught a 76-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Jonathan Jennings to put the Cardinals ahead 14-0 on Saturday, 9-17 against Lake Erie. Jennings would hook up with Janis for a second touchdown on the evening, this time for a 34-yard reception. Janis finished the contest with 4 catches for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns in the victory over Lake Erie College. Jeff Janis, your Spring Hill Suites Male Athlete of the Week.
Welcome back to SVSU Red Alert. I'm JJ Bain, joined now by SVSU Defensive Coordinator Todd Stepsis. Todd, thanks for joining us.
Love being here.
And I know you got a smile on your face. It's always happy to be 2-0 at this point of the season. And you made some changes in the offseason to what you wanted to do defensively in terms of the way that you line up. Explain to people what you've done and why you've done it.
Well, in the offseason, basically, once we were done playing, we looked at the personnel we had coming back. And, we noticed that we had a stable of safeties, but not a whole lot of depth at linebacker. So we decided to move a couple of those safeties to linebacker, place them where they could be successful. They're great space players, so we put them out in space a little bit. Give them the opportunity to play with a little more freedom and have some room to make people miss. And then we took those remaining two linebackers, kept them in the box, kept their adjustments simple, and had them gang up on the run. So we started, we did some research in the off season on how to place guys to be successful, and then worked on it in the spring, and they've really embraced it and done a nice job so far.
And one of the things that you saw was that one of those guys you talked about who moved was Jeff Heath, who moves from safety to linebacker. And against Lake Erie, they had guys in position, but he just refused to be blocked. And most of the time, he was able to hold the edge and make a tackle, and that really disrupted what Lake Erie was trying to do.
Absolutely. That's why he's out there. He's out there to eliminate outside plays. And with the way he's positioned, he's able to do that. And we talked this morning in our meeting. Defeating a block is about 25% technique and 75% willpower. And you can see that in the game. As the game goes on, you could tell that he refused to be blocked. And he made a ton of plays, not only with a guy on him, but where he would get to that guy, throw him down, and then make a tackle after that.
And you heard Coach Collins mention earlier that even though you don't get any sacks in the second half, you had good pressure from the front four most of that game.
Oh, yeah. That quarterback was on the run, and we knew going into the game that needed to happen. Our first goal every week is to stop the run, and we knew we could do that. And then once we did that, we wanted to make sure that quarterback didn't beat us with his feet. And those front four guys were after him all the time. And I remember one play, or after one series, the defensive line came out and the secondary came out, and they're like, man, that quarterback's eyes are as big as his head when he has to throw it, because we're getting after him. So, tribute to those guys and Coach Baumgartner for being relentless on that guy.
And really, you talk about that. I mean, there have been some additions to the staff. Neil's been there at defensive line, but now you've got a guy like Eugene Marv and John Jacobs who are working with some of these guys, and I have to think that that's helping too. They bring a lot of enthusiasm to the practice field. Oh,
the energy level with those two guys is amazing. Having those two guys with us has been a blessing, and they not only bring a ton to the table, like you said, with energy, but both of those guys were excellent technicians as players. Obviously with Eugene playing in the NFL for so long, but John as well. When you watch him play, especially when I was here, he was outstanding at knowing what his keys were, who he was supposed to read, and then getting to the ball. So those two guys have brought that as well, which has only helped us.
And so you've got all of that going on, and really I would think through 2 weeks, pretty pleased in terms of limiting the number of big plays. Probably like to have a few more turnovers. He had a couple of chances against Lake Erie and just couldn't finish the play.
Yeah, we've got to be more opportunistic. And as we look into this coming week against Northwood, they're gonna get some yards. They're gonna move the ball a little bit, but when it comes time to make a play, we've got to do it. We've had the ball in our hands, I think 4 times this last game, and we couldn't come down with it. The ball's gonna be on the ground. We got to get on the ball. So the turnover thing has got to be an improvement, but you're right. Our number one goal is to stop the run, and we've done that for the most part. And the second goal is we want to eliminate the big play, and for the most part we give up one here or one there, but everybody's been in front of us, and that's got to continue, especially this week against Northwood.
Well, hopefully all of that comes together and you're able to maintain the success that you've had through the first 2 weeks of the season. Todd Stepsis, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And when we come back, we'll be joined by Coach Drago and get an update on SVSU women's soccer. That's next on SVSU Red Alert.
you for giving me blood.
Thank you for giving me blood.
Thank you for saving my life.
Give blood to the Red Cross and change a life, starting with your own.
Welcome back to SVSU Red Alert. I'm joined by SVSU's women's soccer coach, Coach Drago. Drago, thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Pleasure to be here.
I know your team off to a 2-3-1 start. Talk about how these first 6 games have gone for you and your club.
Well, I think that defensively we are playing outstanding. We are very, very difficult to score on. You can see our results, 0-0, 1-0, 1-0 down against national champions. 3 minutes to go in a second overtime. So defensively, we are playing outstanding soccer, which, if you want to win, you have to have a great defense. And we are a little bit struggling offensively. We don't have enough shots. And on the other side of the coin, I think we are doing a pretty good job getting a lot of freshmen in the game. Well, freshmen are outstanding. They're giving you energy and enthusiasm and so on. But they have to get a little bit confidence in it as well. It's a little bit different kind of game. A little bit faster, bigger, stronger. And I think they're adjusting themselves pretty well. And it's just a matter of time when we're going to start breaking in that box.
When you talk about freshmen, you introduced me to the freshmen during fall camp, and I couldn't believe how many were there. I think you have 20 freshmen on the roster?
It is that I think every program at one point have to have a turnaround, and this was our year. We brought a lot of freshmen in. This is the first round. The next round is next year recruiting, and what we wanted to achieve is actually to have one group going for a very long time together. It is very difficult when every year you lose 4 or 5 seniors, and then every year is the new team. So this is a very important group to us, and the next year recruiting group, or maybe only 4 players, and we're going to be able to go for the what we believe we are ready to go for the national championship.
And I know that you've got some home matches coming up, and that has you happy. Before we went on the air, you said, I'm going to be so happy not to have to get on a bus.
We live in a bus. Well, we have a very, very tough schedule. We have 11 away and 6 at home. And for the freshmen, that is a little bit difficult to balance all of that. You know, they're coming in and they have to be 6 days a week, go, 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 balance between personal life, academics, and athletics. And sometimes they take toll. And they have to adjust, adapt, and when we get to that point, we're going to be really, really good.
What do you want to see from your team now going into the second half of the season? What are the biggest areas you think you have for improvement?
I think we have to get a little bit more confidence. We do have some injuries again. I think from the goalkeeping standpoint, we are outstanding. Laura was outstanding. Yesterday she came out with the injury, and Nikki came in and did outstanding job. Our 3 seniors, Sam Eccles, Amanda Cady, and Abby Bellamy, are absolutely incredible. You guys, it's just you have to come in and watch them. They are seniors. They are playing like seniors. It's just absolutely, I'm so proud of them. And now we just have to get a little bit freshmen more into it, because we are playing 4 or 5 freshmen in the first lineup. And they have to come down a little bit, give us a little bit more quality. They have that energy, enthusiasm, but we just have to start getting a little bit closer to that box. Last game, we are creating a lot of chances. Now we just have to get them in. Without defense and 1 or 2 goals a game, there's no way that anybody can beat us. Even with with national champions beating us 3 minutes to the end of the second overtime, we are playing good. We are playing good.
And I would have to think that that is a game that shows this team what type of potential it has to be able to go down, as you said, to just 3 minutes to play against Grand Valley, the defending national champs.
It is, and even in a Tiffin game, literally, we lost with 1 single shot on a goal. That's that as a coach, that's just very, very tough. But the team played really well. We don't allow shots. We don't allow players to come in. We are playing a very disciplined game. The thing is now how to excuse me, how to adjust defense and scoring opportunities. So we're all playing very good defense, but now we have to start getting in an offensive line. And yesterday against Findlay, we actually played really well. We have incredible chances and 2 overtimes. So now we're just looking for that extra step to get in the box and then make some finishes.
Well, hopefully you're able to put a couple in the back of the net and get some victories here in the second half of the season. Coach Drago, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And when we come back, we'll talk SVSU football and get a preview of their matchup with Northwood with SVSU football coach Jim Collins. That's next on SVSU Red Alert.
This week's Spring Hill Suites Female Athlete of the Week is Becky Schroeder. Schroeder, a senior middle hitter for the SVSU women's volleyball team, used her consistency and leadership ability to key the Cardinals on their victorious homestand against Northwood and Lake Superior State. Schroeder posted 11 kills in the triumph over Lake Superior State, including a hitting percentage of .611. Schroeder was also a major force in the victory over Northwood, resulting in 11 kills and 9 blocks. The weekend sweep improves the Cardinals' record to 4-0 in the GLIAC and 5-3 overall. Becky Schroeder, your Spring Hill Suites Female Athlete of the Week.
Welcome back to SVSU Red Alert. The Cardinal football team returns home and now takes on their cross Great Lakes Bay region rival, the Northwood Timberwolves. I'm rejoined by SVSU head coach Jim Collins. And Coach, I know you guys really want to get that axe back.
Exactly, JJ. You know, that's the plan. Obviously, that's the goal. I think last year was a bitter disappointment to us after having had it in our possession. And we want it back. Obviously, they want to retain it. And, you know, it's a great rivalry. And it's one of those rivalries that has a lot of little stories involved with it, with the proximity to the schools and the coaching staff, familiarity. But, you know, the bottom line is the goal is to win and get that axe in our possession.
And Northwood's a team, got a win in week one, has struggled a little bit the last 2 weeks, but you know that they're going to bring everything that they have into this one because of the rivalry factor.
Exactly. And Coach Sullivan does a great job of preparing his team for the Axe Bowl. And we've had great efforts from both teams. You know, both the games have been all three of the games since I've been the coach have been one touchdown games. You know, and I expect this one to be the same type of game where it's going to be a battle for 4 quarters. Both teams are going to be on emotional highs. Both teams are going to play with exceptional effort. And the team that does the best job of executing is going to be the team that wins.
Northwood, of course, running that wood-bone offense, and you don't get a chance to see that a lot, but Lake Erie did run some option football against you last week offensively. Is that something that helps in terms of your game preparation against Northwood?
I think it helps tremendously. I think what it does is it makes you be disciplined. And we've seen a little bit of option out of Ferris State, a little bit more option out of Lake Erie, and I think it sets the stage for disciplined play in terms of who has the dive back, who has the quarterback, who has the pitch, and then keeping those guys that are responsible for the pass. So it's going to help us. It's different, obviously, because they're under center as opposed to being in the shotgun, but the bottom line is it really carries over in terms of having to be disciplined.
And you mentioned it earlier, but in terms of what you've been able to do on offense, really great balance these first 2 weeks, and I know that's something you'd like to continue.
Absolutely, and I think we need a great day out of our offensive line. And we've gotten a little bit better. I think we were better this past week than we were week one, and we need them to do as good a job because your balance really relies on your offensive line. They've got to be able to knock people off the ball in the run game and then protect your quarterback in the passing game. And we did a good job of that last week, and that's going to be the key this week.
And I know that you've mentioned got some great things return-wise on special teams, but I know also after last week you got some things that you want to make sure that guys really focus on their responsibilities.
You know, we talked about that in our first meeting of the week, and I think that's going to be the key because we've been really, really good in some phases. I like the way we're kicking off and covering. I like the way we're returning both punts and kickoffs. But the key thing is, you know, we've got to shore up our punt game, make sure we're solid there. And then the other phase, obviously, is continue to improve making extra points and field goals.
So you've been able to do all of that, and it seems as though this is a team now that, in a good way, has a little bit of confidence after that Lake Erie win, because that's a tough game to win where all of a sudden, as you mentioned earlier, Lake Erie's got all the momentum, their crowd's behind them, but they were able to right the ship and then get that late touchdown and, you know, make that one a victory.
You couldn't write a better script in that situation because being able to face that adversity on the road, that's going to give us the experience because it's going to happen again and again. It always does in this league. So that was important. The way we reacted is important, but I'll tell you this, the thing that I was the most satisfied with was the fact that our team wasn't satisfied after that game. They felt like they left some points out there, felt like they could have played better, and I think that attitude of wanting to get better every week, wanting to improve, not being satisfied is the most important part of it.
And I know that that extends to your quarterback as well, who's had good numbers in both of the first two games, other than I know he's got, those two throws both times that he'd like to have back.
Sure, he's a perfectionist. It's great having a perfectionist as your quarterback. He's not going to be satisfied with anything but a perfect day. And so he's going to work hard. He's going to study the film. He's going to work hard in practice. And our whole team has that attitude right now. And that's what you need. You need that type of attitude to survive in this league and in order to keep winning. So, we've got to keep at it and keep working and improve on all those little things that need improvement on and keep playing with the same type of intensity. That's what we have right now. I think we've had great intensity all 8 quarters. I haven't seen our team relax and not be able to be focused. So, got to continue that.
Well, hopefully that continues. You got a great boost from the home crowd in week 1, over 8,000 strong against Ferris State. We expect another big crowd now that you're taking on your arch rival. Coach Collins, good luck against Northwood.
Thanks, JJ.
And we hope you have enjoyed this edition of SVSU Red Alert.